friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about 13 audiobooks that are just top tier. The narrator is incredible. They really bring the characters and just the book to life. And sometimes it's like the ideal reading experience for some of these books. So if you're looking for audiobook recommendations, this is your video, so stay tuned. Also, just a disclaimer, audiobooks do count as reading. So if you are listening to audiobooks and you're not counting them as actually reading, let's fix that. They do count as reading, okay? There have been studies done that show that you're activating the same areas of your brain as when you're reading with your eyes, you're just reading with your ears, okay? So we're not being ableist, we're not being judgmental. You can consume books however you want. Some people have disabilities. Some people just prefer to listen to audiobooks, and that's okay. That doesn't make you less of a reader because you're not reading with your eyes. So, I don't want to hear your arguments. I don't want to hear your judgment. Audiobook readers are still readers, okay? Thank you. Also, I can't be sitting down and reading with my eyes all the time, okay? I have a life. I have things that I gotta do. I gotta drive. I can't drive and read at the same time, but I can listen to an audiobook and drive at the same time. I can do my dishes and listen to an audiobook. So yeah, tangent over. Let's jump into the audiobooks that are incredible. To start off with the holy grail of incredible audiobooks, I'm just gonna jump into the big baddies right away, and that is The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. This is technically 4 books, but I'm counting it as 1. These audiobooks, narrated specifically by Andy Serkis, are a true masterpiece. If he didn't win awards for this performance, that is a crime against the arts community because he ate it down with these audiobooks, okay? I forget that it's one person narrating these books. He is absolutely phenomenal. He brings so much life to these characters, and these stories are incredibly well known. Most people have seen the movies, a lot of people have read the books. So if you're just wanting a refresher or you loved the movies but you haven't read the books, just listen to them on audio because you're gonna have a much more enjoyable experience just listening to it than sitting down and getting through all of this. Although I will say these are also incredibly easy reads, especially if you're already a fan of Tolkien's work. I listened to these on my morning walks and I felt like I was walking to Mordor. I was on the adventure. I will say there's a lot of singing in these books, okay? And he does sing the songs. So if you're into that, you might enjoy that. I didn't love that as much, so I just skipped past those parts. Judge me. Judge me all you want. I skipped past the singing because there's a lot of singing in these books. Okay? Next. Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinniman. This is a lit RPG, which feels like kind of a newer subgenre of sci-fi and fantasy, and it is super fun. If you love video games, if your partner loves video games, if you like Dungeons and Dragons, this is a book that you and your partner or whoever in your life would definitely enjoy. Jeff Hayes is also a fantastic narrator who narrates multiple different characters so uniquely and so well. Honestly, I think this would probably be the preferred reading experience for this book in particular. I don't think if I would have read it physically, I would have enjoyed it as much, but the audiobook narration is a masterpiece. It is so involved and it just really brings these characters to life, especially Princess Donut, who is Carl's cat companion, and she is a sassy little thing and her voice is just perfect. And Jeff Hayes does an incredible job. So they are, I will say, Audible exclusives. So I wasn't able to get it through Libby, which is sad, but if you have Audible or you're willing to pay for it or find it on a deal, check it out. The next audiobook is The Adventures of Amina Al-Sirafi by Shannon Chakraborty. This is narrated by Lamisi Sak and Amin El-Gamal, and they do a phenomenal job. I really enjoyed listening to this one on audio. In the story, you're following Amina, and she is a legendary pirate, and she is retired. But in order to potentially secure her family's future, she has an opportunity to go on one last adventure and save someone in the process, secure a future for her family, and all of the seafaring adventures that she encounters is super fun, and the audiobook is wonderful. There is one primary narrator throughout the entire book, but then there is one narrator who kind of jumps in here and there as sort of like an overall story narrator, which is super fun. I probably enjoyed this more because of the narration. You literally can't talk about audiobooks without talking about Stephen Pacey's narration of The Blade itself and just the entire First Law trilogy. I'm pretty sure he narrates all of Joe Abercrombie's books, but I've only listened to one on audio so far. And this book was really brought to life by Stephen Pacey's narration. I think this should be required to read on audiobook because the way he voices these characters truly makes them super unique, especially Sandan Glokta, who is my favorite character, and if I didn't hear him in Stephen Pacey's voice, I don't think I would love him as much. But his voice just gives him this quirk And I love it, and I love him, and Stephen Pacey freaking nailed it with this one. Must listen to on audio. Another fantasy is A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. This is probably one of my favorite books of all time. This is just so beautifully done, and the audiobook is stunning. It is absolutely stunning. It's narrated by Ruth Court, and she nails it. She has this beautiful accent that just gives this like beautiful like Scottish, Irish. I can't tell the difference. I'm sorry. I'm only American. This would be a really fantastic immersion read. That's what I did for this book, is I read it physically and I was listening to the audiobook at the same time, and that was like peak reading experience for this book. It's just perfect. Take with that what you will, but the audiobook slays. The next one that's a must listen to on audio is Chain Gang All-Stars by Kwame Adjei-Brenyah. This is narrated by 4 different people for multiple different perspectives and characters. Shayna Small, Aaron Goodson, Michael Crouch, and Leah Sorio. This is an interesting perspective on the American penal system and just our justice system in general, but it is a dystopian story about prisoners who can compete for their freedom if they enroll in the game show Chain Gang All-Stars, where they fight to the death for their freedom. So it's very much giving Hunger Games meets like Gladiator vibes. This has a lot of really brilliant social commentary, some incredibly complex and interesting characters, and just it's a really, really incredible read. Would definitely recommend it, and the audiobook narrators really killed it with this one. A super, super fun series that is must listen to on audio is the Vera Wong mystery series. The first book is Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers, and the second one is Vera Wong's Guide to Snooping on a Dead Man. These are fun. Eunice Wong is the narrator, and she makes Vera's character so endearing, so hilarious. If you're looking for a really funny, lighthearted, cozy mystery series, I love this one, and the audiobooks are super, super fun if you're looking for a good laugh. Vera Wong's character is just so chaotic and also just absolutely hilarious, like major chaotic grandma vibes, and I love that about her, and the audiobook narrator brings her to life beautifully. I absolutely love, love, love to listen to these on audio, and I hope she continues to write these books because they're really fun, lighthearted palate cleanser books that are super easy to read, super bingeable. Again, the audiobook is incredible, super fun. Next, I'm going to add Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. We're following 3 women, their journeys and experiences with vampirism, and they're lesbian, and they're toxic as and I love that. Each character has their own narrator, so it's narrated by the queen of audiobook narration, Julia Whalen. If Julia Whalen is on the narration list, I'm listening. Katie Leong also narrates this, as well as Marissa Kalin, and they are phenomenal, and I just absolutely love this story. The audiobook is an excellent companion to reading it, great for an immersion read. Next is The Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green, and this is like a collection of essays on little things regarding the human experience, and he narrates it himself. I absolutely love when authors narrate their own works. They just put so much heart and soul into the book as well as the audiobook, and John Green just has an incredible voice for narration, and it's just like such a fun and hopeful read. This is like a 5-star perfect read for me. It is incredible. So those are all the audiobooks that I have personally listened to and would recommend to you. However, there are some honorable mentions. I wanted to give you some additional options of things that I personally have not read yet, but I have heard good things about. The first one being Project Hail Mary. This is a book I'm going into blind, but it's written by Andy Weir, who is the same author as The Martian, and I've heard that this is like a required book to listen to on audio. So that's what I'm gonna do, and it's on my list. I plan to listen to this before the movie comes out, so I'm excited to get to that one. Next I heard is for the book Circe by Madeline Miller. This is a book that I read. I didn't listen to it, but I could imagine that this would be incredible on audio, and it's been such a long time since I've read this book that I am actually really interested in rereading it sometime in the near future, and I'll probably do it on audio. If you like Greek mythology, Greek retellings, I think you would probably really enjoy this. Madeline Miller is also known for her book A Song of Achilles, which people absolutely love, but I've heard that this is a really incredible audiobook, so I will probably check that out on my reread of Circe. Next I've heard Daisy Jones and the Six. Now look, this is not a book that I'm personally ever going to read. I don't like reading about musicians or bands. I just don't find it that interesting, but if you are interested in in sort of like the 70s rock folk band type vibe, or you liked the show and you want to read the book, I've heard that the audiobook is incredible. I believe there's 4 narrators in this story as well, so that's always fun when you have a cast of characters being played by multiple narrators. I've heard this one's really incredible. There's probably some music in there as well. I could be wrong about that, but if you're into that type of book, maybe check out Daisy Jones and the Six. And the last one is 11/22/63 by Stephen King. I will 100% be reading this on audio because I am very interested. This is like about a guy who's time traveling and he tries to stop the JFK assassination, but like also some crazy shenanigans comes in. Again, I like to go in a little bit blind, so I'm sorry I'm not giving you the best descriptions, but it's by Stephen King. This book is thick, so I'm going to be reading it on audiobook because I want to read it, but Stephen King's books are so long. I tried to read The Outsiders like years and years and years ago, but I felt like it was just going on forever, so I DNF'd it. But I've heard that this is like people's top book, so I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to read it at some point, and I will probably be doing it on audio because I'm a bit intimidated by the size of the book. Okay? Don't be sick. Don't be nasty. I hope you enjoyed. You found these recommendations helpful. I would absolutely love your audiobook recommendations. If there are any audiobooks that you just like are obsessed with, drop them down below in the comments because I will be adding to my list. Also, if you're wondering how to listen to audiobooks more for free, I talk about this all the time, but it's truly the best resource for getting free audiobooks and ebooks is through your local library. Ask your librarian what they use. My personal library uses Libby and Hoopla. You can honestly download those apps and type in your library card information, and your library is probably hooked up to one or both. Mine is hooked up to both. So I use Hoopla exclusively for audio, and I use Libby for audio and ebooks. So if you like to companion read like I do or immersion read, check out Libby. So sometimes I'll have the physical book or I'll already own it on my Kindle, but if it's available on Libby to do audio, I will typically do both. But you can get free audiobooks that you check out from the library just like you check out any other books, but it's all on your phone for free. So please use your local library to get audiobooks. Audible is great if it's an Audible exclusive, but Audible is incredibly expensive. Like I will only do Audible if they do like a 3-month deal for like $3 a month, because that's worth it to me. But generally, I'm not buying audiobooks. You can also get audiobooks on Libro FM, which is a place where you can buy audiobooks and support a local indie bookstore in the process. So go on Libro FM, type in the bookstore that you want to support, and you're buying essentially audiobooks from your local independent bookstore, which is great to support the local bookstores in your community. So instead of going to Audible, go to your local indie bookstore through Libro FM, go to your library via Libby or Hoopla. Every time I turn somebody onto Libby, they are mind blown at how many books they have access to for free. It's incredible. So read those books, get them from your library, support your local independent bookstore. Audiobooks count as reading. Make sure to follow and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I love you all. Goodbye.